Okay, we're in the Maimer Hashem Li B'Ozrai. It's the second Maimer in Kuntresim Aleph that the previous Rebbe said when he was released from exile. He got the news that he was being released from Siberia. So it says, Hashem Li B'Ozrai, God is with me of my helpers, and I will take revenge the destruction of my enemies. Says the Rebbe, we have to understand who are these helpers. I mean, doesn't God do everything? Ubafrat Beit Sor, and especially in the time of difficulty, Asher b'muchash anu roim, we see exactly the opposite. The Teva B'nei Adam, that the nature of people, Hanimshachim Achrei Regilus, that they're drawn after habit, V'tivius, and how do you say tivios? And nature. People go with what's easy. Lakal asher yatzliach. People go, usually they're drawn after successful people. Right? Someone is successful, usually you're drawn after that person. Kamosh Katuv, like it says, Rabim oavai ashir. There are many lovers and friends to rich people. Umitrachkim mikol kashayom. But people who have troubles, people who are poor, who needs them? Who wants to be close to them? Right? Someone comes up to you and says, now listen, I have some advice to give you. Right? And you see the person is dressed with torn clothes, and they say, okay, yeah, let's hear what you have to say. Yeah, sure, he listens. Okay, good, I'll think about it. Somebody comes, he's dressed nicely, he's with an entourage of important looking people. He says, excuse me, I have some good advice to give you. Oh yeah, let's hear it. You take it seriously. Right? Maybe the person is a con man, maybe this, but nevertheless you take it seriously. You'll find out who it is. A person is poor, who pays attention to him? Maybe you'll give him a quarter, $1. Umar, if so, mi hema ozrim, who are the people, who is a helper to a man? Usually people that are cast down and they're very low, who comes and helps them? Who cares about them? Right? Generally nobody. Very rare is it that people, they see somebody that really needs help and they really help them. Right? They used to make series of videos, people, please, I need money. You ever see those videos? They made videos and people sat in the street and say, please, I'm homeless, I need money. People would give them a quarter. A person would put in front of his thing. He says, listen, I haven't got any money for marijuana. I want people to give him dollars. That's okay. Have a good time. A guy wants to have a good time. Right? That's okay. But a person is poor, who cares? You give him a little bit, you give him something. Right? Once in a while somebody has a good heart, he gives him something. Says King David, when I was cast down, I had a lot of helpers. And God was one of them. Who are the helpers? When a person is cast down, what help? Exactly the opposite. Everybody in Israel left David. They all left him. They all hated him. This is when Absalom stood up. He says King David only had 500 men. He said he ran away. 500 men. The whole entire Israel, who knows how many million people were against him? Who are these helpers that King David has? And why did King David say that God was one of the helpers? What does it mean? Milashon HaKatuv, from the language of the sentence, mashma, implies Sha'ozrim elu, that these helpers that King David had, him emitim, that they were real, true helpers. Asher Kodesh Baruch Hu imahim, that he joins with them specifically. Those are the helpers, the real helpers. And God, they're so real that God likes to be with them. Who are these helpers? What's happening? King David should have said, God helped me, and he sent me all of these helpers. That's what he should have said. What does it mean that I had a lot of helpers and God was one of them also? They say it was with Bar Kochava, Bar Kaziva, that he was such a successful fighter, so amazing, so strong, that he said, God, you don't have to help me. Just don't help my enemies. And because of that, he got punished. You don't have to help me, God. I can do it on my own. Just don't help my enemies. I can do it by nature. King David is saying almost the same thing. That's what it seems. Right? I have a lot of helpers. Okay, you know what, God? You join them. You'll be one of them. Oh, and even more, tzorech lahavin, we have to understand, ma'u bakasha, what is this request that King David made? V'ani ereh, and I will see the destruction b'sonai of my enemies. The lechaora, that at first glance, Now the Rebbe is going to answer this. The Rebbe is not asking questions on King David to show that King David made a mistake. Chas v'shalom. He's trying to show that there's something deeper here than what we usually think. L'chora haya li levakesh. King David should have requested asher ha'oivim, that his enemies v'sonim, and those who had hated him, yafchu, they should transform, loavim v'krovim, to be his admirers and his friends. Hagam, even though that it's true, to call sinato, anyone that hated David, hayarak l'sonei Hashem, because they hated God. It's a very, very important point right now also, right? People talk about the Holocaust. Now there's anti-Semitism. It's so terrible, the anti-Semitism. Why do they hate Jews? Why? So the question always comes up, I mean, why really do they hate the Jews? Why do they hate the Jews? I mean, the Jews, what? Right, the Jews really control all the money. The Jews really have some sort of a plan to take over the whole world. Right, two Jews together, they don't get along. You're going to tell me, look at the Israel, how many different political parties there are, and this. You want to tell me that the Jews secretly underneath it all, they're just faking it all, but really underneath it all the Jews. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just insane, right? It's just an insane thing to say. So obviously, that's not really the real reason why they hate the Jews, right? Maybe stupid people, could be. Who really? Says, what is the real reason that people hate the Jews? Why did the Nazis hate the Jews so much? More than everything. They didn't go around trying to kill every Russian, trying to kill every black person, trying to kill. Why the Jews? Why do they have the Jews? So the answer is here. They hate God. And the Jews are the representatives of God. And the Jews don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. But the fact is that that's the reason why the Germans were the most civilized and cultured nation maybe in all of the history of the world.
Yeah, it's
right?
Though, because the majority of Germany was Catholic.
Germany is not Catholic. I mean, it was, if anything, it was Protestant. But the Lutheran, this. But the fact of the matter is they were atheists. They were total atheists. The church joined with them. It's very interesting. The church joined with them. The Muslims joined with them. Right? Here, take a simple example. The Nazis say that they were the superior race. They're the Aryan race. They're superior, right? They're superior, and therefore they hate the Jews because the Arabs are not Aryan race, right? All of a sudden they hate the Arabs, the Muslims, and the Nazis work together well. What do they have in common? It doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, the Muslims hate anyone who's not a Muslim. Anyone who does not accept Muhammad, they hate him. Hitler didn't accept Muhammad. How did they get along? What do they have in common? They have all these pictures of the church and the Pope and all these people all standing together, right? Standing together. Why? What do they have in common with Hitler? The thing they had in common is they all hate God. They all hate God, and that's why they hate the Jews. The church knows that if there's one Jew, that their whole religion is finished. Like one little tiny hole in a big balloon. Because it shows that God really did choose the Jews. And like we're saying here, that God is really creating the whole entire universe. God is not far away like the Muslims and the Christians want you to believe. He's far away, and only if you believe like we do, you're going to go to heaven. We say God is creating everybody. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good sign of life. Can't get a bigger gift than that. God is creating every human being constantly, every single second, brand new, and enlivening everyone. That's pretty close, no matter what you do. God is creating you. Right? Just repay him. Nevertheless, King David said, I want revenge on my enemies. I want to see them destroyed. What? Sure, of course. Why? Like it says, Halo misanecha Hashem asneh. Even though these people, it's true, they were the enemies of God. And it says, isn't it true that your enemies I hate? O mitkomamecha et komem. And with those who rebel against you, fight against you, I fight. But nevertheless, mikol makom, good, these people are the enemies of God. But what are you supposed to do with the enemies of God? It says, Halo kativ, it says, Yitamu chata'im in oretz. It says that there should be finished sins from the world. For Omer Razal, the rabbis say, Chata'im kativ v'lo chotim. Sins and not sinners. You know, let's start with Rabbi Meir. It says that he had I think it was Rabbi Meir, that he had neighbors that were evil, that were bad, and he prayed that they would die. And his wife said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm praying that they're making me terrible troubles. They must be making them some serious problems." And she said that it says you should pray that there shouldn't be any more sins in the world, not sinners. Time, King David, the same thing. How can King David say, "I want all of my sinners to be destroyed"? Hainu she'achotim yaseh tshuva. He wants that the sinners should do tshuva. Im kain, if so, ma'u bakasha. What is the request? V'ani Rebbe sonai, that I will see my enemies. Obiyoto ena muvan, and even more, it's not understood. Tochen bakasha. What is the request of King David? Halo David ba'atzmo Omar. That isn't it true that King David himself said, Hashem Omar lo kilel. There's a story in what is it, Shmuel Beit, I guess, Shmuel Beit, that King David, when he was in this time when King David was running away from Absalom, so Shimi ben Gera, who was one of King David's biggest enemies, Shimi ben Gera, it says he was Rosh Sanhedrin, head of Sanhedrin, and he cursed King David. He was on the other side of some sort of a valley or something, and he cursed King David. It says Kalala Nimretzet, a terrible curses he was cursing King David. And one of King David's men said, "Should I go around and kill him?" He's cursing the king. And David said, "Don't do it. God is telling him to curse." What he's saying, God is making him say that. God wants him to curse me.
When he saw Absalom in the cave, so
What?
he didn't kill Absalom.
Right, the same type of a thing. It didn't. That was Avner ben Ner. Avner ben Ner he didn't kill. He went into the cave where Avner ben Ner was hiding, and he just cut off the corner of his Kalel. He told his men not to kill Avshalom, and they killed him anyway. Yoav ben Surya, he killed Avshalom when he was running him. So King David, he was the one that's brought in the Tanya also. In the end, it's true that King David had Shimi ben Gera killed, but right as he was dying, King David said he was hoping that he would do tshuva. Umi yomer madua asita kain. Who was saying that he should do? King David believed that everything that happened from God. These people that were chasing him, they were chasing him because God wanted them to. If so, Hainu, the bein aminagdim shalo, hayugam ke'elu, that even more, among the people that hated King David, there were those people, shekiblu chayas mi'akadusha, they were holy people. That's what I was saying before. Okomo doag Achitophel. It says that Achitophel knew the Ruach HaKodesh, he knew what the Urim and the Tumim would say. Doag was a tremendous genius. Okomavur, like it says in Tilim, Siman Sat Nun Beis Nun Hey. Asher bechitzoniyutam asu akal al pi mishpat Torah. These were people that were holy people. Who hated King David? People that were true Talmidei Chachamim. They knew all the secrets of the Torah. In ken yuksha biyoter. Now we have a really big question. How could King David say, see that my enemies are all destroyed? He should have just said that they take a little sense. What are they hating me for? Why? The Lichaora Hinakama. King David wanted revenge. Can we really say that that's what King David wanted? Can we be followers of King David and also want revenge on our enemies? Asher be'emed hine inyan and nakama be'eza ofen shetiyeh. That the fact is, taking revenge, no matter how it is, he mira lo tova. It's not a good thing. Revenge is not good. As Ech Yevakesh David, how could King David request davar kshikazeh, something like this? How could King David want something like? I remember there was one person that really, really hated the Rebbe, and he told his pupils to hate the Rebbe. They hate him to this day. And so the Rebbe said that he knows what he's saying is wrong. He knows what he's saying is no point. But his heart is ruling over his head. His heart is ruling over his head. His heart, because he hates me so much, it's not logical. He doesn't. So what connects the heart and the head is tefillin. He'll change his tefillin and he'll change his mind. You'll see. The Rebbe didn't say, whoever curses me, well, you should watch out. He changes tefillin and he'll change his mind. I happen to know that he did change his tefillin, and in fact, he did change his mind, but only for a certain amount of time, for about a year. Hine michlalos ha'inyan move when it's understood to al yadei that king by means of this that God is one of my helpers. Right? King David had a lot of troubles. And the people that had a lot of troubles, it was from jealousy, it was from who knows what. But a lot of them were really holy people. They could have got themselves in a second. What am I doing? So it's not understood, why did King David, first of all, say that I have a lot of helpers and God is one of them? Well, God is not everything. He's not creating everything. And number two, why did King David say, I want my enemies to be destroyed? That's not a Jewish thing to do. It's against the Torah. Hine az davka v'ani Rabbi Sonai. And it seems to be saying that when God is one of my helpers, then I will see the destruction of my enemies. Hainu, tezeh masha ani Rabbi Sonai, that this, what I will see the destruction of my enemies, hu davka is only kasher adam, when a person has helpers. Ke'elu, such helpers, asher b'kaviyachal, that so to speak, God joins with them. So we're going to see now a whole entire dynamics of how God works in the world that we would have never thought happens. A whole entire dynamics. So of course God does everything. And of course revenge is wrong. But here King David is pointing out something else. That God somehow or other has a lot of helpers that seem to be separate from him and their help. And only when these helpers are there does God join with them and the enemies are completely destroyed. And that's a good thing. Why? We'll see, God willing, next week.